Hello and welcome, welcome and hello, hello and welcome, welcome and hello, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me on an extremely special edition of Un Poco Moss. Actually, truth be told, pardon me, got a frog in my throat. Ribbit. This is not a special edition. It's not an important edition. It's another penny stock that I buy that drops like a rock, like hot garbage. Nobody buys it. Nobody wants to hear about it. Nobody wants to see the video, and nobody really cares. But I do. And that's what counts because I am the director of my own life. I've been handling most of my affairs for much of my adult life now. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this turd, and I'm going to talk about it because I think it's a hell of an opportunity. I don't know what people are looking at with this price action, but it makes a lot of sense when you look at, the short on the thing and the walk down and how controlled it is. A lot of people, the stock's under $2 right now. I think anybody who knows anything thinks this should be 5, 6, and a lot of people think it should be over 10. So it's really hard for me to put a price target on this. They are a little behind with their FDA approved, rollout for their treatment of melanoma. But they have an opportunity in Europe as well as Canada to, dramatically increase sort of the market. And it looks like people are going to pay because they're getting incredible response rate, like 48%. Hello, Carl Seamark. What's going on? The mark of quality, the Carl Seamark mattress. You guys know him. You'll love him. It's great, Carl Seamark. Welcome and hello, Carl. So here's the thing. Now, I'm not even talking about the melanoma. I'm not talking about the numbers. I'm not talking about earnings. I'm not talking about analyst recommendations. I'm not talking about the fact that you guys, got the smallest wing size of any U-turd stock channel audience, including the great stock Mo, including Felix, including Henry, including the entire Canadian U-turd fintech mafia. You guys have the tiniest wing, so congratulations. Give yourself a round of applause with your very small hands. So welcome and hello, guys. It's Un Poco Moss. Small wing jokes aside, let's talk Iovance Biotherapeutics Inc. Ticker symbol IOVA. Sounds like some European sneaker manufacturer. Oh man, you got the Velcros. Anyway, so what happened today, essentially, or yesterday, whatever this was? So they roll out the melanoma treatment. It's going a little slower than expected, but the flip side is it's getting a great response rate. The stuff actually works. So their secret sauce, their science is there. It's just they've never, rolled out a drug before. This is their first FDA approval. So there are going to be growing pains, but the value here is not that hidden. The value here is not that deep. And, for this to be trading under $1 billion, when they're expecting to do, 250 to 300 million just in sales just this year of the one treatment, to me, it's undervalued just on the merits of that one drug. But if you start talking about the pipeline, you start talking about the potential, I think the valuation is just absurd. Now, because I think it's instructive, just take a look at the short interest, 28% of the free float now. And that's up from 23. And then shares on loan, even a bit higher, utilization high, cost to borrow not that high. And they're shorting again. No, they returned a few shares today, but they were borrowing earlier. It looks like they actually returned a few shares. So the data today was really, really weird in terms of the shorting. I didn't have a lot of confidence in it. Then again, what the fuck do I know? I'm just a big fat idiot. But here, when these biotech companies, they give, look at the chart, guys. Look at how, and today, not for nothing, I mean, volume is really high, like 4 times the average. And then look how crazy this pre-market is. You see this news, it's trading in $1.60, spikes all very quickly all the way to 250. Algo rejects it at 250, drops it back down to 223 instantly, pushes back up to 240. Then just there's this, break in the space-time continuum where, I guess this is like the space between the balls and the yick, and that this is like the sort of the taint zone or the twilight zone, but sort of the nether regions, parts unknown, where the Ultimate Warrior was from. But anyway, so this, drops back like a stone, and then, right before open, or actually, excuse me, right after open, because I think, yeah, it opened at 215 and then back off a cliff exactly to where it entered the pre-market, and then they drove it all the way down like 185 and then back up to 190, back up to this exact point again, and then algo hold after back at this exact point again. So I don't know, guys. When I see stocks like this that for no particular reason on purpose, they just control the price down to the penny. I know there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't know about, but I know they really need control. And when you have a super bullish readout, super bullish news into a heavily shorted stock that's already undervalued for something as, commercially viable as, lung cancer, this is huge market. And again, I'm not trying to brag, because most penny stocks I get into I go bankrupt in, because I keep saying this, guys. It's just the nature of penny stocks is you're going to lose all your money, the vast majority of the time. But this was a stock that I got into at, like, I don't know, just over a dollar. It was like $1.10, $1.20. And then I ended up selling the stock at like 26 or 27, but it only took, like, it wasn't that long. It was like less than a couple years, and this stock just went absolutely crazy. And this is a lung cancer drug, a totally different drug, but the point is, you can see the price action. Like, this was coming in when it was showing promise, $5-6. The market sold it all the way back off, way under a dollar. And then this was somewhere in here where the one of the founders made $100 million insider buy, and then that's when I bought. And then up here, I saw this like insane spike, and I just sold, like, not right at the top, but I was pretty happy. So I still hang on to a few shares, but I sold most of my shares. Anyway, my point is, when the market wakes up and actually believes you have a chance to get, your lung cancer drug to the top of the line and be the number one treatment, even though this might be sort of a treatment for people that didn't respond to other things. And you can read about the trial yourself. Again, you guys probably understand this stuff a lot more than I do, but I'm just saying this is the potential to move when the market believes, you have a lung cancer drug that can get to the finish line. And given the data, I'm not saying the market is there yet. I'm not saying they should be there yet, but you got to wake up and smell the smelling salts. You got to start, having a conversation. And just to go back, this was an article by Edmund Ingram. Forget when this was. This was back. This was back October 10th. So this is just like not even a month ago. But he's talking about the non-small cell lung cancer, which is a huge, market. It's a huge, tons and tons of people die of that. It's very difficult to treat. There's all kinds of companies working on it. But then if you go down here, again, this is before any of this comes out. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Bunch of stuff going on. So it says it's going through like Antavi and all this stuff, and his whole thesis, like why he's bearish. But then it says IOVA advised the following: remains on track to share additional data in the second half of 2025 from the IOV LUN 202 registered phase 2 trial to support a potential U.S. accelerated approval. Lifileucel is the monotherapy in post-anti-PD-1 non-small cell lung in 2027. The FDA previously provided positive regulatory feedback on the clinical trial design and proposed potency assay matrix to support registration. So they're trying to accelerate this thing because there are no alternatives for these patients who are dying without this. And the response rate for this was 26% or something like that, where the current standard of care, it's like 12%. So it was over twice as good. And then they had 2 total responses where usually there are 0 total responses. So again, it's way early. It's early innings. Like, you're not going to call, some Dodger style miracle, in the early innings. All due respect to my Canadian friends, but nana nana doo doo, stick your head in poo poo. LA rises. I mean, it's a lot of Japanese guys and Hispanic guys, but still, as a fat white guy who did absolutely nothing other than live in proximity, share a little bit of that vicarious glory. Niners! Well, Niners! I was a big Fernando fan back in the day. Anyway, what the hell am I talking about? So, in this article where he's already extremely bullish, he's talking about one of the reasons he's bullish is they're releasing this data that they released today. And from what I'm reading different responses. I'm reading AI's analysis of it. This was a lot better than anyone expected. Like, this is like home run data. So if you go over to investor relations, it's just a press release. And I know this is obviously the own company's press release, so they're going to make it look as good as possible. But also in these things, when dealing with the FDA, data is data. And unless, like, this isn't a fraud, this is real. So this is real data, and this is real impressive. And if you start to think about the opportunity here and start to think about evaluation that the market's putting on a company like SMMT, who hasn't, they're making a lot of progress in China, but less so in the United States and Western Europe. If you start to believe that this company's pipeline has the potential to get to the finish line on many of these cancers that they're working on, and it's going to, happen in the next, this decade, it just stands to reason in my mind, this company with the already approved revenue source. And I think that's going to grow faster than they think. I mean, there is no alternative to save these people's lives with this advanced melanoma. And the same thing with this lung cancer. If this thing is really that much better than anything else, just think about where the valuation would go. If you start to see that daylight, you start to see that finish line, you start to see the potential, and the FDA is like, let's accelerate this thing. Let's get this out to patients because it works. That's the only way that would happen, is if it works. You're not going to fake it. You're not Meg Ryan. Anyway, is anybody watching this turd? Keith Stam, Team America versus Team Japan. That was the game. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Keens. Yep. So funny because baseball is such an international sport, and it's like, everybody still get all proud, and, everybody went out and rioted in Los Angeles, got out of hand, of course. But I don't know. It's like, it's not just the Dodgers. Like, LA is a lot of Japanese and Hispanic people too. I love LA, man. Love California, love LA. Been here forever, never leaving. I'm gonna bury my fat ass here. What's up, Lisa? How's it going? Hope you're having a good day today. The great Lisa has joined us with her hat. Probably in all white, probably out in the Hamptons somewhere. Just enjoying a good glass of wine, some good conversation. Looking down on the rest of us working people. We know how it is, Lisa. We know how it is. Oh, I'm just a hater. Don't mind me. They call me Karen. My friends call me Karen. And my enemies also call me Karen. Everybody calls me Karen. But anyway, so let's go through this just very quickly. And you guys should honestly read this for yourself, because I'm the last, I'm the last chunky monkey who should be explaining science to anybody. I always anger Princess J by explaining to her that there's potassium in bananas. She's like, biochem major, freaking genius. And I'm a poli-sci major who likes to read comic books and play with my balls. So, it is what it is. But anyway, so 26% objective response rate, median duration not yet reached, 25-month follow-up. So these are long trials, guys. These results really, really matter. Like, this isn't just, this isn't like throwaway stuff. This is critical. So Iovance, commercial biotechnology therapies, today announced interim data from its registrational phase 2 IOVA. We already kind of went through this a little bit. So the objective response rate, ORR, was 25.6% following one-time treatment monotherapy in patients with advanced non-quasmos, I always get that wrong, but any NSCLC, it's lung cancer. An objective response was observed in 10 out of 39 patients, which in everything I've read on this, that is a big number, more than a quarter, and including 2 complete responses and 7 partial responses and 1 unconfirmed partial. They're still looking at that. With a disease control rate of 72%. The median duration of response was not reached after a median follow-up of 20. So they're still they haven't reached. That's not a bad thing. The median duration of response hasn't been reached. It means they still need more time to measure it, at least as far as I understand, because I read a few articles about this. Iovance will present additional data from the trial at upcoming medical meeting in 2026. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration previously provided positive regulatory feedback on the trial design and proposed potency assay matrix to support registration. This trial design aligns with FDA guidance for single-arm trials to support accelerated approvals in conditions with unmet medical need. The IOVA 20202 trial is expected to progress in 2026 towards a supplemental biologics license application for lifileucel, I'm pronouncing that wrong, as non-squamous NSCLC, and a potential launch in the second half of 2027. So they're talking about launching in 2027, like literally 2 years from now, which usually you can't even do a phase 3 trial in less than 3-4 years. I mean, or more. I guess it could be less, but the ones I've seen tend to drag on. So to be getting interim phase 2 data, that means the FDA is hot to trot, hot for your product. They've seen you shake your caboose and they want a tango, if you know what I mean. I think you do. Okay, so it is exciting to see such an impressive response rate and durability observed in previously treated patients, because today there are only very limited treatment options, none of which demonstrate this quantity of response and durability. Guys, listen to that. There are very limited treatment options, none of which demonstrate this quality of response and durability, said Martin Wormke, MD, professor of experimental cancer therapy and director of National Center for Tumor Disease, Dresden. One-time treatment with lifileucel monotherapy has the potential to benefit many patients with advanced NSCLC following initial treatment with an immune checkpoint inhibitor. Sorry, guys, I got a headache. It's just crushing my nutsack. Following additional treatment with immune checkpoint inhibitor chemotherapy, patients with advanced NSCLC have limited treatment options and often receive chemotherapy, which has limited durability. Standard of care, doxatel monotherapy in patients with, again, non-squamous, I don't know how to say that. I always hear it, and I never remember. NSCLC previously treated with immune checkpoint inhibitors and chemotherapy has recently shown in ORR2 of 12.8%. So that's like half of what this is showing. And 5.6 months with overall survival of 12.3 months without any complete responses. And they got 2 complete responses out of less than 40 treatments. So I don't know, guys. I mean, again, I don't have the science background or intelligence to interpret these results, but just from what everyone's saying and what I'm reading and other, people are doing commentary today, this is pretty impressive stuff. And for a stock to just shoot up to 250 pre-market and then shoot right back down to where the algo was holding it at 4 is just beyond fishy. It's extremely fishy. It's like a fish market. The safety profile for the treatment regimen was consistent with underlying disease. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. NMALD and interleukin-2 IL-2 improvements in the overall safety profile have been observed without affecting efficacy following the introduction of an updated regimen of reduced NMALD for IL-202. Patients treated with updated regimen showed a reduction in median post-IL-2 hospitalization days by more than half and lower incidence, shorter time of resolution of cytopenias and compared with the initial regimen. Sorry, guys, I know my medical. I keep saying this, but my medical pronunciations are just horrid, but that's the way it is. I'm a poli-sci econ guy. Lifilocel has demonstrated potentially best-in-class clinical profile in previously treated advanced non-squamous NSCLC, the duration of response. So you guys can read this all to yourself. We will pursue regulatory approvals for monotherapy to effectively address tens of thousands of patients with previously treated and advanced NSCLC. It's an impressive response rate and a one-time monotherapy for a difficult-to-treat patient population, stated Frederick Graf Friedrichsen, MD, Chief Medical Officer of IOVA. So I don't know, guys. What do you think of these results? Just combine this with the type of response rate they're getting on melanoma, which really those patients who get to this point with IOVA, they have no chance. They're dead. And IOVA, is getting a response in almost 50% with the melanoma. And then here they are with this really almost impossible to treat lung cancer patients that have really no hope left because they've been through everything, and they're getting some total responses. They're prolonging life. This is dramatic stuff. I mean, the stuff going on with science right now just kind of blows my mind. Like, I guess a lot because I don't really understand all of it. It's like, voodoo to me, but these people who do, it's bringing hope to people that basically have no options left. And I think this pipeline is very valuable, potentially. Now, it could go down in flames. There could be some big problem with it. It could turn out to be worthless. That's true. And there's a reason, like I said, 9 out of 10 of these penny stock investments do go to zero. But once in a while, like GMDA, it went bankrupt, or UBX, it looks like it's going bankrupt. JAGX should have been bankrupt years ago. I think TNX could be a pretty decent one. Could be a good one. But like I said, SMMT, I didn't make videos about it, but I like 25x the stock, pretty short order, but didn't necessarily make up for all my losses on the other ones. But I just enjoy, these biotech. I enjoy the penny stocks. I enjoy sort of have a special, these companies like GMDA that had a cure for a cancer that, patients with no hope. I guess I have a kind of a soft spot for those companies that are just innovating on the cutting edge of some of these cancers where the patients are hopeless. Because like all of you, cancer's touched my life. So I haven't personally had cancer, but just loved ones, friends, etc. Oh, but fat people get way more cancer, man. Yet another reason to lose weight. If you're fat as shit, you're way more chance of getting everything, including getting hit by a fucking bus because you're too slow to get the fuck out of the way. Like environmental problems as well as health problems. Getting robbed, whatever. It's like, why do fat people have a good sense of humor? It's not by accident. Because you're going to get your ass kicked and you can't run away. You got to make a joke. You got to talk your way out of it. And people that think like fat kids are tough. Fat kids aren't tough. We go down, we can't even get back up. Be kicking us in the ribs repeatedly while we're trying to just get back into push-up position, trying to find some type of fixed object like a countertop, just pull ourselves back up onto our feet. Meanwhile, you're giving us like 12 to 15 lame girl punches. Like a little kid fighting against a big fat kid. Like nobody's getting hurt. The fat kid's winded. He's gassed out immediately. He's laying on the ground. When's lunch? Little kid's over there just peppering him with blows. He's not hurting anybody. Eventually gets bored with his ADD and goes off and plays kickball or something. You know how it is. What's going on? Just want to play. Clap my dog. Any update on prop? Don't have anything really on prop. Clap my dog. We're not really going to know anything until earnings because they're going to really what we want to see is how is the production RAM going? How we need to go well by well and see are they feeding us a line of bullshit or were they just legitimately a bit behind schedule and they're actually going to get the thing online and get the numbers pumping that they said they're going to do, in which if they are able to do that, dramatically undervalued. If it continues to languish and, they're not pumping much and they give us more excuses. I think it's in big trouble. I'm just trying to be honest with you. But I think they can execute. I think they can execute, but obviously I have to see it. You have to see it. My thoughts are worthless, as you know. So it's worthless as a fat guy trying to do one of those like snapback martial arts. I took a lot of martial arts when I was little, or some. It's ridiculous because it goes by age. It's like one of those joke TV shows where I'm like 3 times the size of anyone else, just using zero technique. Some little kid just like bash him with my hand. Mommy, this 200-pound 8-year-old's difficult to deal with considering I'm 45 pounds. Yeah, I could see that being a problem. Who's this fat little fucker? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I know. I said you were deaf. I said you were fat, not deaf. Oh, so cruel. Oh, so cruel. Anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think about valuation? You think this should be under $1 billion? Think this should be under $1 billion? They got a cure for cancer, melanoma that's approved. It's working. It's rolling out a little slow, but not terribly so for something like this. That's really sort of, you're breaking virgin ground here. Like this company has never been here before, but if they're able to successfully roll out the melanoma drug, then they'll be more successful next time. But I really think people don't think they're a real good buyout candidate, but I don't know, man. I start to see this data. It should move the needle. This data should really move the needle. Like I said, no, it's only 39 patients, but it to me, in my eyes, it's very, very significant. Been trying to make it on here. Been adding IOVA. Hey, thanks. I just want to play one. It's great to see you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you joining us here on Un Poco Mas. That's awesome. I think this is a good company. Now, management's a little shaky. The executive's a little shaky, but I really feel like they're going to be able to right the ship, and I don't think their finances are that bad. I mean, it's not like they're like buried in these bad debt deals and horrible warrant overhang and all. It's not to that point. It's not to like junk point. It's just, they had to tighten the belt. But I really think this has some buyout potential. People are saying I'm crazy in that thought, but I don't know. They have to show that treatment stations can deploy at a reasonable pace. I think I mentioned it's almost like the Neo Biotech. Yeah, this is true. It's a lot to launch these drugs. It costs a lot of money to educate the market, get all the centers. You got to sell and bribe all the doctors, take them on ski vacations, buy them a bunch of hookers and cocaine. It's not cheap. Dude Ass Face just wanted to stop by and say hello and welcome. Hey, thanks, Dude Ass Face. Good to see you. Appreciate you, man. I have to assume you're a male with the name Dude Ass Face. I'm not misgendering anyone. Plus, I don't think anybody's talking about that. If we have secret police running through the streets, all of a sudden you're not talking about misgendering people. You have more pressing issues to deal with. Kind of an interesting. Perhaps that was part of the point that they were going for anyway. This font is way too big on those comments. Sorry about that, guys. Going as I go. I don't think not a lurkers here. Still love them anyway. Laba, it went way up pre-market. I thought it would 2x today. Yeah, it went all the way up to 250. It stopped right before 250, and then it pulled exactly back down to where it was, like 196. It's no doubt that it's price fixing, but like to what end? Are they going to try to cover now? Is this going to be a delayed move? Like SoFi looked like a big delayed move, then they pulled that right back down, and then it kind of picked up again at the end, but still under where it was coming into the ER, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I don't know, guys. Not saying buy this stock, but keep your eye on it because, if it starts to get some heat around it, I think it could really move. There's a lot of short interest on it. And it's real. I mean, this is real. These are real cures for cancer that nobody else can cure. No other company, no other drug. It's novel. It's unique. It seems like it's safe. They're not buried in debt. I don't I'm not saying this company should be worth more, but I'm saying something could happen. You don't know. I don't see a lot of downside here from this point. I mean, I know they probably have to raise more money, but at the same time, with the valuation at 700 million right now, that's like less than 3x the current sales for the one drug. And I mean, these companies are usually valued more than like by mature sales. So I don't know. Most people smarter than me and this who know about this sector, know about these things, say this is one to buy. But of course, you got to make up your mind. It's not financial advice. It's not entertainment. It's none of the above. It's just a way to pass some time at work when your boss isn't looking, guys. Thanks. It's Un Poco Mas. It's IOVA. It's lung cancer data that we've been waiting for a long, long time. Spiked way up pre-market, like 25%. Stopped at 250. Just no explanation for this other than mechanics. Just using my balls for a speed bag just for sport. But that's what the market does. Takes old Danny out and just little speed bag action on my Apple bag. But that's life, right? Christmas for me with a steel toe boot to the face and a TV dinner. Anyway, guys, Un Poco Mas. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Dude Ass Face, Carl C. Mark. I just want to play. I don't know who else was here. Clap My Dog, the great Lisa SH, the great Keen's Tam, two brothers. They were both here. Richard Lee. We got, I don't know who else was here. Seems like about it. Anybody I missed, thanks for watching. Appreciate you, even if I didn't say your name. Say my name. Say my name. All right. Heisenberg. All right, guys. Un Poco Mas. Peace.